I was watching this video earlier today about how to get girls to text you or how to text girls in this sense because it was on my home feed, and I don't dabble or prioritize women, but I was like, you know what, maybe I can learn something from here because my text game isn't really that good. And from my experience with women, from the few times that not a few times, but from my experience with women, right, he hit on some very relevant points, and I just want to discuss them further for the benefits of you guys, and so you guys don't go through the same mistakes that I did. One thing he said is don't overthink a conversation. Overthinking in general is just bad and not something you should do. But in terms of conversation, like texting, you shouldn't be sitting there thinking, oh, what can I say to this girl? What's the best thing? This and that. It's like the conversation should flow well and naturally, and you shouldn't be like trying to come up with the best possible thing you can say each time. It shouldn't be that hard to text her. That's one. Second is like using texting strategies that you see on the internet. It's all bullshit. That shit doesn't work. If it's like something like, oh, she waited 5 minutes to text me, let me wait 10. Doing like weird, stupid shit like that does not work. Don't do it. Conversations flow naturally. You should, at a point, you shouldn't even really be sitting there and waiting for her text and like timing it and doing all. You should be way more busy than that. If you have so much free time that you're sitting there and trying to analyze the best possible conversation to have or talk about or timing each text, it's like you're not busy enough. You need to be putting more on your plate. You need new hobbies, you need new interests, you need to be working more. Do something. Be a man of stature and do things that actually cause you to be busy and text girls when you're available, not being available so that you text girls. Um, and like when you use all that like texting strategy, it can be sensed. Like I don't know how girls detect it. Maybe they text a lot more. Maybe they have a lot more experience. But it's like when you're try harding and using these little weird strategies that you learn on the internet, it doesn't work. And once they sense it, they cut you off. They get bored. They stop texting back. In the video, this guy talked about like the three methods guys typically use to talk in a conversation, like to start talking to a girl, and it's like compliment, a sexual comment, or which he said was like autistic logistic, and I found that really funny, and like sending like a meme or something. And he was like the best way is a compliment, and I don't really agree with that. I feel like when you send a compliment, it shows way too much interest, and typically the girl's probably not into you, and you showing physical interest, which guys typically give like physical compliments. Again, that's not good. It's not gonna work. It's just you're being a little too upfront. You're kind of giving her too much leverage, too much power right off rip. I think the best thing to do is show curiosity instead of interest. So if you see a girl at the gym that you like or whatever, and you're like, ask her, go up to her and be like, yo, are those shoes comfortable? Or where'd you get this shirt? This and that. Don't be like, oh, you have such a nice body, or you have really nice lips or something, right? It's like you need to show curiosity in the things that she chose, not the things that she was. Show curiosity, not interest. That's one. A whole nother point is if you're gonna give her a compliment, make it not something she was born with, and make it not so physical. So don't be like, oh, you have really nice eyes, or you have really nice lips or whatever, right? That was something she was born with. She didn't choose to do that, but her outfit that she chose, the activity she chose to do, is something she chose to do. Give her a compliment on that. And if you are gonna give a compliment, try to make it unique and tailored to her, because then she'll remember it and it won't sound so basic and general that you could have gave to any girl. So, like saying something like, "Oh, you have really the way your earrings compliment the shape of your earlobe is really nice." Like that's a weird compliment, but I'm telling you, just like that's funny. And if you say it in the right way, she'll probably laugh and be like, haha, and she'll remember this and that. So, like I said, compliments, unique, tailored for her. Try to make it funny if you can. Don't make it weird. When you text a girl, or even when you start a conversation with a girl, breaking the ice is typically the hardest part. You have to make it low effort. And for this, it's like, no, isn't the most amount of effort always good? No. In this case scenario, a low effort is best, because when you give a low effort text, you give her the space to also text back in this talking very general tone or whatever, and allowing her to also do low effort. Nobody wants to like go into a conversation and have to think out every single thought that, like, think critically about the thought or how they're gonna reply. You need to make it very easy, make it flow well, make it very casual conversation, and you do that by making it a low effort. And you going in with a low effort also protects you in the sense that like you're not putting all your like might in this one text, and like with girls nowadays, you get the chance of getting screenshotted. So if you say something outlandish or audacious, it can make it seem as too heavy going in, right? So you want to make it casual. So you can't get screenshotted. You protect yourself, and you get to get a good feel of the situation. Maybe you see she's not replying, or maybe she leaves you unseen. Maybe she doesn't take her headphone out. Maybe she doesn't. The body language is off. Obviously, she doesn't want to talk to you, right? Read the signals. Get a good feel of the situation. See how it's flowing, and then continue it. Low effort gives her space to think. Gives her space to also be low effort and just have a good, normal conversation. It doesn't make you weird or show too much interest and giving her too much power and leverage. Understand that girls are flooded with DMs, right? Every girl even the ugliest girl has 5 to 10 guys in her DMs. They love just having the messages say 10 or whatever. Maybe in real life they're getting hit on all the time, whatever, right? Guys are horny, we know this. It's there's way more guys going after girls than girls are going after guys. So you want to be the guy that stands out. You want to be the guy that actually meets with her and not just some texting chump. So don't continue to text a girl. Don't send these weird texts. Your goal essentially is not to become one of those texting chumps, and to do this means to not text them so repetitively, right? You want to compress the timeline in terms of texting, and you want to get from texting to meeting in real life. You don't want to be basic and grouped with all those other guys that are just giving her all this compliments and attention. You want to make conversation with them low effort and just flow naturally. Don't try hard too much. Don't make it weird. Don't use these weird texting strategies. Let it flow and just let it happen naturally. And if she's not fucking with you, try to get her feel for that quickly. And if you can, obviously you can just cut her off, move on to the next. And using this low effort method allows you to not have such a heavy investment, so you take such a big loss. If you really took the time and really articulated and made such a really the best proposal, and you're talking about this and that, it's it was low effort on your end. It didn't take that much time and energy, and so it doesn't seem like a bad, your ROI, your return on investment wasn't bad, and it's better that way. And you protect yourself by not getting screenshotted and saying something crazy and outlandish. So do that. Another thing, the whole red pill versus blue pill stuff that was trending during COVID and all that, I never really looked into it that much because I just didn't know about it. But I hear red pill often nowadays, even just in videos or whatever. And it's you have to understand this red pill shit. A lot of it does work. The red pill stuff comes from people who are actually getting women, and not this shit that you see portrayed on the internet by other women or Hollywood or movies or whatever the bullshit. It's the red pill shit is the things that's working. Why would you go against it? And it's if you follow the blue pill shit, and it works for you, great. If it doesn't, try to actually take into account what some of these red pill things, try to understand and see if you can integrate them. All this shit about being the nice guy against the girl and buying her flowers and opening her doors, maybe that worked in the past, maybe it worked for some people, but it's in most case scenarios that shit does not work. It's just what girls, it's the idea girls push but don't actually care for. It's the same girls that say that, yeah, I want flowers, I want the guy to open door, that are going with the guy who's gaslighting them, who's being toxic, who only hits them up at night. It's these guys are getting all the action, and you are trying to take advice from people who are getting no action, who are getting no girls. It's as if you try to get fitness advice from a fat person, or trying to get rich learning from a poor person. Learn from the people who are actually in position that you want to be in. Like I was saying, all these girls will claim that they have no guys in their DMs, and the fact that they have no hoes or this and that, it's all bullshit. These girls have guys in their DMs. They're going on dates weekly, whether they consider it a date or not. All these guys are with them trying to pipe, whatever the case may be. So if you have the same perception and assumptions as me, where it's oh, these girls are all good, she's religious, and she's a good quality woman, it's no, even these girls are going on dates. There are guys, they're entertaining these guys that are trying to pipe or whatever, right? And there's nothing wrong with them. I'm not being misogynist. I'm not blaming girls. Let them live their life, whatever. But don't have the idea that it's not happening. It's the idea of oh, people aren't getting rich online. It's people are getting rich online. You just don't know how or to do it, so you think it's false. Get that idea out of your head and move. Get with the times. You can be these same guys that are getting with these girls, but you have to be a guy of you know, these guys that are going on all these dates or whatever, this and that, are guys of power and abundance, right? And to be a guy like that, you need to be on self-improvement, right? So I mean, when I say, I don't mean to mean like sound corny, but self-improvement as in like the guys that are going on these dates have money, they are in shape, they know how to talk to women, they are actively outside, they have fun lives. And for you to be a guy like this, you need to go through that journey. You need to start putting yourself in the gym. You need to put yourself in positions to have fun. You need to be working, you know, having a job, starting a business, this and that, right? And it's like, when you're in those types of spaces, it allows you to meet more women naturally in those spaces, or just because of those, you're able to meet more women. So get that in your head. And then another thing, if you are like messaging girls on Instagram and your goal, like I said, is to not become the guy, like that loser in her DMs. They're just flooding her with messages, and you know, she's grouping you with all these other losers that she's just not gonna talk back to. If you DM a girl, she leaves you unseen, she leaves you unread, whatever. If it wasn't, like, how do I explain it? Like, if you sent a good text or whatever, and it wasn't like weird or creepy, and it was like, this is a normal text, and I should have got a reply or whatever. If like you can get rid of all those other factors, and she's just not replying to you, she just doesn't fuck with you, cut her off. It's like, I have a theory, like the thing I do, I call it unsend and unfollow. If you send a girl a DM for the first time and it was like a good text or whatever, she doesn't even acknowledge it, she either leaves it unseen or she just leaves it undelivered, unsend it so you protect yourself, don't get screenshotted, don't get caught up later, and unfollow her. You know, she's not gonna talk to you now, she's not gonna talk to you later. There's no point in keeping her around as a mutual or whatever. And if you're following a girl that doesn't follow you back, you're already down bad. Unfollow that girl immediately. There's no reason for you to be following her and watching her post and do all this weird shit while she doesn't even follow you. Unfollow her, unsend the message. And the only reason to sometimes keep it both around, like the message and following her, is if you're gonna use it as fuel and for your motivation. So if you send a message to a girl and maybe she leaves you unread, whatever, same case scenario, and you're like, you know, this girl didn't want to acknowledge my message or nothing, she doesn't see me as valuable enough. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna start going to the gym, I'm gonna make this business run, I'm gonna get this car, I'm gonna do all this and that, and you like post about it or whatever, and she starts watching it, chances are she probably still won't ever message you again because she has other guys to entertain and that she actually likes or whatever. But at least you became a person of stature, you became the fit guy, you became the guy with money, you became the guy that has abundance and power. So either use it as fuel and motivation, or unsend and unfollow that girl. There's no reason to keep her around. When it comes to girls and meeting them in real life and all this, is you have to portray a life that's interesting. I remember, I forgot who the quote said, but it's like, when trying to meet with women and get with girls, you have to keep in mind all girls just want to have fun, right? Very general, right? But it's like, you have to make it fun for them to be around you, to be with you, right? So when you are on Tinder and Instagram and you post all these pictures and stories, girls are trying to get a grasp of what your life looks like through those pictures. Are you going on vacation? Do you have a car? Do you have friends? Is there girls around you? It's like, all of this stuff does matter. And you might not look at a girl and be like, oh, is she on vacation? Like, as guys, you just look at her face and her body, like, oh, this and that, whatever, right? Girls are trying to get a grasp of what it would be like to be with you, right? So if you portray a very boring life, you got no car, you dress poorly, you're not working, you don't go to the gym, whatever, this and that, obviously they're not going to be interested in you. You portray a life that's boring to them. If their life would be more boring if they were with you than without you, so why would they want to be with you, right? So make your life more interesting, make it more fun, go do fun things, go do important shit so you're able to talk about it and do it. And this allows you to actually this allows you to give off the idea that you will make a girl's life fun. Like I said, they just want to have fun, provide that for them. That's how you give them value. And this whole idea of like, all girls want to have fun, if you really wanted to, like, if you're like, oh, but I don't really, like, for me personally, I don't prioritize women, so it doesn't really matter that much for me. But when I've realized this, it's like, so what I find fun, you know, I find it entertaining to go to the gym. I go for like 2-3 hours or whatever. I read books, I work on my things. That's what, like, that progress and that grind is what's fun to me. So it's like, I'm not gonna bring a girl over and be like, let's read this book or let's go to the gym. Like, no, I know that's boring for them. So if I want to meet with a girl, I would need to create a sort of fun concept for them. And I realized it's super easy to do that. Like, even if like I don't like going out and eating, I feel like I just don't care for that. But girls love going out and eating. So if you're like, oh, I want to meet with a girl, whatever, just you simply telling them, oh, I'm gonna go grab food. You want to come with me? You know, they're like, oh my God, he's gonna pick me up. So he has a car. I get some free food, this and that. And it's like, just that simple concept of just, you want to tag along with me to get food is enough for them to be like, this is worth it. This is fun. And it's literally that simple. And I don't know why it took me so long to realize that, but I've done that before and it has worked. And I thought it was this like a one-time like scenario, and then until I did it again, and I was like, wait, so this works. It's so simple. All you have to do is tell them you want to get food, or you want to go bowling, or this and that. It's like, it could be any activity, something you don't even actively do, but because there's activity and there's plans and there's intention with it, the girl just wants to have fun, so she'll do whatever, right? And it's super easy that way. I'm telling you. You have your fun. You buy her some food. She fucks with you. You go home. Either you get something or not. It's not like it's gonna cost you like what, you don't have an extra $100 to spend on a date or whatever. And it's like, don't be cheap, don't be weird, don't be frugal. Know that you're probably gonna spend at least 100. Not at least, at most 100 if anything. But if it's like the first link type shit, you gotta get some food. Sometimes you could literally be like, oh, let's go get food, and you don't even get the food. And then like, if y'all do stuff, whatever, right? But point is, create this idea of fun for them. And, you know, they're gonna have fun. It's very easy to entertain a woman. You get them food, you talk, you listen to music, late night drive. They love that whole idea. They romanticize it and everything like that. And if you think that's red pill, so be it. That's what works. I'm telling you that right now. And if you're texting this girl and like maybe you're constantly texting her or whatever, this and that, like I said, you want to compress the timeline to make it that you meet as soon as possible, because you don't want to be sitting there just texting her all day and then like, what the fuck is this? It's a waste of time. So if she's not receptive when you're texting her about like meeting, cut her off. Maybe she gives you a valid reason or excuse, like, oh, I can't do it, somebody this and that happened. If he does it more than once, it's a pattern. Break it off. It's not worth it. Cut her off. Move on to the next, because it's like, she's not receptive. She just likes the attention that you give her. She likes the compliments, the validation. She likes having the notifications from you, whatever it may be. And like the thing that he said in the video is really funny, because I do relatively believe it, where it's like, it's gonna sound a little misogynistic, but girls are a little bit brain dead. So when it comes to just getting notifications, they're like obsessed with notifications. They're obsessed with their phone. They're obsessed with constant stimulation, dopamine. Like, I don't know how many girls I know constantly scrolling through TikTok all day. I'll go to a party or a club and you see girls on their phone like dancing the whole time, recording themselves. It's like, you're at the club, enjoy the club. It's like these girls love the constant stimulation, dopamine, and they're obsessed with notification, attention, validation, all of that. And in that sense, I call that brain dead. He called it brain dead. I agree with him in that sense. So it's like, you need to understand when a girl is using you simply for the validation, attention, the notifications, and you know, because she won't be receptive in terms of interest. And if she is, again, like I just said, cut her off, move on to the next. She's not ever gonna meet with you. She just likes what you have to offer. And another thing is like, a lot of girls just wanting to have fun. They just want to be girls too. So it's like, if you can, you know, as men, you're supposed to be masculine. As girls, they want to be feminine. And if you can put a girl in her feminine energy, she will, I don't know what word to use, but I don't really want to use it, but she'll submit to you, right? And it's like, you obviously want to be a masculine character, right? And it's like, you want to be able to provide for her. You want to take care of her, this and that. And she also wants to be taken care of. She wants you to lead and take control. And so do that. Give her the perception, give her the idea by actually doing it. Like if you have the funds or whatever, you know, take her on vacation, take her out to dinner, do this and that. Make her feel like a girl in her feminine energy, and see how much more women you just get naturally, because you're able to provide that sort of concept, that idea, that perception. Let them make it that the girls that you meet, give them a sense of feminine energy and give them a sense of like allowing them to have fun. That's how you provide value to them. And you can do other things, like he was talking about in the video, like if you met like a gym girl, he would be able to like text her like, oh, I'm doing this fitness challenge, I'm gonna make content, this and that, you want to come do this with me? And it's like, the girl's not gonna say no because she's a gym girl. It's a good opportunity for her. It sounds like fun, entertaining, whatever, this and that. It's like things like that will allow you to get more opportunity and get more women, especially in that like idea. Like I know another YouTuber who was like a gym influencer or whatever, and he would be with some of the like baddies in the gym industry, and it's because he creates gym content. He has a platform that they can benefit off of, and he benefits in the sense that he creates content with them. So it's like creating content is like a perfect example of why how you can get more and more women. Not only do you get the opportunity in that market, but you're also marketing yourself to more women out there. There'll be more girls in your DMs there because they're just seeing you more often. Like, a guy who's kept to himself and does nothing, nobody's seeing him. But guys that's on YouTube, on TikTok, everybody's seeing him because they're naturally on the algorithm or whatever the case may be. But it's like, if you want more opportunity with women, put yourself in more positions to get that with them. If you're in the gym, if you like girls with like gym bodies, be in the gym. If you like girls that are like club girls, be in the clubs. If you want to put yourself in an opportunity to get more women through the use of content or whatever. Make content, and you could eventually use that as a sort of reasoning to get with you, to be with you, and stuff like that. So you can benefit in that sense if you want to meet more women, talk to more women, have more women. Again, so there's some things that I want to touch upon. Like I said, I grew up with the wrong assumptions and perceptions of girls. Even now, I'm still working on it. I feel like a lot of girls that I see, I assume that they're like good girls, or they're not the type of like that girls that like, you see on the internet, like these city girls. But it's like every girl is kind of becoming like that. So it's either, you gotta let them live their life, do what they gotta do. And of course, every girl isn't like that. But if you have the idea that they are, you're gonna be let down every time. So reset your standards and understand that these girls are going on dates. These girls are sleeping around. These girls are doing whatever they gotta do. Whatever, right? Create the idea of fun. Let them be girls. Let them have fun. That's how you provide value to them. Another thing, when you meet with a girl, right? I've only learned this kind of recently, but it's like they know the guy's intentions, right? They know maybe you want to pipe. They know that you want to do something, right? Because that's how guys are. It's in our innate feeling to. It's our innate primal feeling to like have sexual urges or whatever, right? And girls know this. They're not dumb. They're not like, oh my god, this guy wants to take me on a date because he must really be fond of my personality. Like, no. Like, they know you want to get sexual or whatever, right? But they don't want to feel like a hoe. So they don't, like, they'll be like, oh, I don't want to, we're not doing nothing on the first date, this and that, whatever the case may be, right? But girls are, like I said, girls are very picky and choosy with their words. And so they might say one thing, but if you link a girl late at night and she's dressed in a certain way, like she knows what's up. Like she's not just linking you and thinking like, oh yeah, nothing's gonna happen. Like there's a reason she said yes to linking you. There's a reason she said yes to getting picked up. There's a reason she's dressed the way she is, right? In my head, I was like, oh, I thought she would just want to hang out with me, this and that. It's like, no, these girls also have these intentions. They also have these urges, and given the opportunity, the timing, whatever it may be, they know what's going on. But it's your job to make them not feel like a hoe by doing so. It's your job to make them feel comfortable enough to but make them feel comfortable enough to do the things that you may want to do and always they want to do as well. But you need to create that vibe. You need to make them feel comfortable, and you gotta make them not feel like a hoe. If you're able to do those three things, everything they say kind of goes out the window, I'll be honest. Like, and it's not like your fault or nothing like that. It's just how they are. It's not like, I feel like that's like a real big difference between guys and girls. I feel like guys, they stick to their word more often. Like their words are like iron or whatever they say. Because for girls, there's more emotional. So it's like when a guy says, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to go to the gym today, this and that, they like have to stick to it. But when girls say they're like, they can be a little bit wishy-washy, and they use excuses like, I'm just a girl, this and that. And it's like, whatever. I don't know the whole psychology behind it, but their words to them don't hold as much meaning as you would think. It is what it is. And again, like when you are trying to first meet with a woman, you need to show curiosity, right? And you need to get them talking. they don't care about, you're obviously interested in them, and that's when you showed curiosity. And now you need to continuously talk to them, let them talk, feel out the vibe, see if how the body language is, if she's even remotely interested or whatever. And if you can, like, how do I explain it? Like, if you can pull information out of her in a sense to later use against her, but not in like an evil or weird way. It's just like she might drop hints of what she likes doing or what she likes eating, and then you can later set up dates or whatever the case may be to do those things. You have to almost pull out information like a car salesman, where it's like when they're talking to like a potential client, they're like seeing what they like to do and what kind of cars they like and what their lifestyle looks like, so they can later use it as persuasion or use it to convince them to close the deal or whatever, right? And another thing would be like something that, like, this concept makes a lot of sense to me, but I'll be honest, like, I struggle when I was doing it, I guess, like when I was trying to dabble in and, you know, trying to text as much girls as I was doing or whatever. But when you like text a girl or you're outside and you're trying to like approach women in real life or whatever, it's like, you have to think about it in this sense. So it's like, you know, you might go text a girl, right, and she doesn't respond, she leaves you on red or whatever. Then you text another one, and then same thing happens, right? And you're like, oh my god, none of these girls want me, I suck, this and that, whatever, I'm just gonna stop texting girls. But in theory, right, if you are someone who doesn't do this like consistently or actively, you're probably just not good at texting. Maybe the texts you're sending are bad, maybe you're picking girls out of your league, whatever the case. Like, I don't even think girls are out of your league. It's really rarely ever that scenario. It's normally just, you're just not good at texting girls, right? And so, like, you have to think about it like this. Imagine, like I said, I don't normally dabble in texting girls. So when I did go text them and I was getting left on red or delivered, I was like, oh, I suck. No, I said, I knew, me personally, I knew it was my fault, but I didn't know why until like I realized it was like I just didn't have enough texting game because I don't have enough texting experience. So you have to see it in that sense. So it's like, imagine you don't play basketball that often, right? And then one day you're bored, you're like, let me go play basketball. And then you go shoot a 3-pointer, and then you're like, you missed. So you take another one and you miss again, and you're like, fuck this shit, I'm going home, I keep missing. So you go home, and it's like, in theory, it would have been better for you to keep shooting until you realize the patterns and notice what works or what doesn't. So you're like shooting, right? You shoot and you're like, okay, I finally made one in. What did I do different? Oh, I shot from my hip. Okay, let me do it again. You make it in again. What did I do that time? Oh, my release was a little bit better. And then you realize, okay, so if I do this and this, the shots go in. If I shoot from here, it doesn't go in. So when you do it, like when you keep shooting and you notice all these little patterns and the things that work and the things that don't work, you're building up your skill. And the same thing that goes with texting. You keep texting as much girls and you see what kind of texts work. If I send this type of compliment, doesn't work. If I send this type of compliment, doesn't work. If I send a mean comment, doesn't work. This and that. And you keep trying different things until you realize what works for you. And then eventually, I guarantee it, you'll go from being like getting left on red and delivered every time to being able to send whatever text to whatever girl, and you're always getting some sort of reply because now you've made the formula. Now you know the system. You know how it works. And like I told you, the things you need to use: low effort, don't make it physical, don't make it sexual, don't make it weird. It's like, now you gotta actually put them into action. You gotta go on Instagram, text a girl that you want to text, make sure don't text multiple girls the same thing, because now you're not testing anything. You need to text them different things and see which texts actually work. That's another reason why you shouldn't unsend your text message, because now you have proof of what works and what doesn't. Watch game footage, try different things, trial and errors, everything. Keep that all in mind, and that's how the fuck you get girls. I'm telling you right now. I just told you everything you need to know about texting, approaching women, the mindset to have around women. Now go get them women.